Good evening.
Okay, let's start our class. What's the date today? It's 14th of January, right?
14.
Yes, 14th January. So we are discussing about data frame, right? Python data frame, in which we are discussing uh, some function or methods of data frame, right? So here we are having another function, that is len. What is the use of that function, right? Just create a simple data frame. I'm writing a short code here. Import pandas as pd, right? And now create a data frame. Df is equal pd dot data frame, and now pass the two-dimension array here. 1, 0, 3, 4, whatever element you are passing, right? And another element is 4, 3, 2, 1. And now close that array and close the data frame. Suppose if you are using that function, so it returns the number of elements in the data frame. If I print data frame by using print function, right? So I will write print df, right, to print the data frame, entire data frame. So what is the output here? The output will be we are having two rows, that is 0 and 1, in which we are having 4 columns. We'll start from 0, 1, 2, and 3, right? And now put the elements accordingly. 1, 0, 3, 4, and 4, 3, 2, 1, right? And what is the working of that function? That function always returns the number of rows of data frame. How many rows are there in this data frame, right? Tell me how many rows are there. How many rows? These are the rows, right? So how many rows are there?
Yes.
And
3.
check once again, how many rows are there? 0 and 1. We are having only two rows. We are having only two rows, 0 and 1. This is the
Okay.
column name. This is nothing, just a column name, right? Uh, we have created two-dimension array here, which is data frame, right? This is data frame. And data frame is what? Data frame represent the two-dimension array in which we are having some rows and columns, right? So how many rows are there in the data frame? How many rows are there in the data frame? Two rows, right? Two rows are there, 0 and 1. So it will return number of rows, right? Number of rows of data frame. Is it clear?
Yes.
Now the next function is that count. This is the very most important function of data frame, right? Okay. So what is the working of that function? What is the working? Can you please tell me? Do you have any idea about this?
About what?
You don't have any idea. Returns all values by indexing of data frame of data frame, right? Look at this data frame, and according to this data frame, what will be the output? Count. If you are using count function, the syntax will be tf, and now just call the function that is count. And after this, you will get the output values by indexing, right? So it will return the values, the number of values um, by indexing. Suppose we are having two indexes here. 0. How many values uh, of 0 index? How many values are there in index 0? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 values, right? So at 0 index, we are having 4 values. Same as at 1 index, we are having same number of values, that is 4. So the way in which we will get the output, that will that function will return the number of values of indexing, right? By indexing means of indexing. So it will return the number of values in the indexing. So how many values are there in index 0 and index 1 and so on, right? So we will get the output accordingly. We are having only 4 values in both the indexing, right? So that's why it returns at 0 index 4 values and 1 index 4 values, right? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. And you can also write that function in that way. You can pass um, index position, right? So index position is what? You just need to pass only 0. 0 is the index, but that not represent the index numbers, right? If you are passing 0 here with your count function, suppose you are writing df dot count 0, right? So it will return the same output, right? It will return the all values by indexing. The output will be the same as we have got the previous output, right? 0 and 1. 0, 4 and 1 is also 4, right? This is not the index numbers, right? So you are passing index number like 0, 1. This is nothing, right? This is not such type of indexing, right? This is what? This is you just need to pass. If you are passing any of argument, what 0 and 1, we are having only two arguments, that is 0 and 1, which 0 represents 4 rows and 1 represents 4 columns, right? This is not index numbers, right? So if we are passing 0 as the index, right, as argument, that the count function, so it will return, that means we are writing, we want uh, output in such way, right? It will return all the values by indexing. Is it clear? Or you can write the same example or the same syntax in that case. Just count and access and just pass the value of access index. So the same output you will get by these three functions. 1, 2, 3, right? These three functions are the same functions, and you will get the same output after this. We will apply all these functions in the practical fashion, right? I'll show you how it works, right? Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now we move to the next function, that is count 1. As I told you about 0 represents 4 rows, 1 represents 4 columns, right? So it will return all the values by columns, right? So the output will be what? How many columns are there? How many columns are there? Look at this data frame. How many columns are there? Tell me. How many columns are there? Tell me.
2.
How many?
3 columns.
Three
3.
columns. Just count the number of columns. Why? How you look?
3.
Just count the number. 0, 1, 2, 3. 0,
Yes,
1, 2, 3.
3.
1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 columns in the data frame. How you look? How you read it? Just count the number of columns, right? So there are 4 columns. So just write the number of columns here. 0, 1, name of the column 0, 1, 2, 3, and each column, in each column, how many values are there? How many values are there in each column? If I am talking about this is the column name 0. This is my first column, and how many values are there? How many values? How many values are there?
3. 2.
2. So it will return the values by columns, right? So every column contains the same number of values. One is also contains 2 values, 2, 2, and 3, 2. So the output will be look like that. Is it clear? And
Yes.
and you can also write count access and just pass the columns here. Okay, now these two functions are same, so the output will be of that two functions is same. We will get same output. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, now let's move to the next function, that is size. In the previous examples, we are having a simple data frame that is 0, 1, 2, 3. We are having 4 number of columns and 2 number of rows, right? In which we are having some elements. I, I don't remember the elements. Just note it down, whatever. Just put the elements. Suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are the elements, nothing else, right? And just focus on the number of columns and rows too, right? So we are using size function, right? So it will always return the number of elements in the data frame. So we have just created simple data frame, that is we are having 2 rows and 4 columns, in which how many uh, how many elements are there in the data frame. Just count the number. Just count the number of elements. How many elements are there? How many elements? We are having
4. 3
four.
elements.
No, we are having just 8 elements in the data frame. The complete data frame.
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it will return the number of elements of the data frame. Remember that. It returns number of elements in the data frame or series. You can also use the same function with your series. So I am writing series here, right? If you are creating a simple series and you are calling the same function, so the working of that function will be the series or the data frame, right? And now another function is or attribute is t. This is t, which is used to transpose the number of sorry, it is used to transpose the columns into the rows and rows into the columns, right? So row will become column and column will become row. So if I'm talking about this uh, data frame, so the output will be, look at this. This is our rows. This will become column 0 and 1. And now these are the columns. So this will become number of rows. And 0, 1, 2, 3, right? And in which the element will be placed accordingly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look at this. This is the simple data frame after using this method. This is T, which means we are transposing the rows into the column and column into the row. Let's do practical with this function. Now just create a simple data frame, import pandas as pd. And now df is a variable pd dot data frame. Now I'm creating a simple data frame that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now just print complete data frame here, right? I have created the same data frame as I explained in the example, in the previous example, right? So this is our data frame, and now first of all, we are calling the len function. Just call the len function and pass the data frame inside this function, and it will return the number of rows. And how many rows are there? We are having only 2 rows, so it will return the number of rows here. See this number of rows 2, which is at 0 and 1 index position, right? So that's why it returns 2. Now after this, the next function, if I am talking about, that is count, right? I'm not passing any of argument here, so it will return all the values by indexing, right? In indexing, oh sorry, just call with the data frame. See this, by indexing. So in index 0 and 1, each index has two number of elements, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3. If you are passing up 0, the output will be the same. And if you are passing axis is equal to, and the value of axis is index, the output will remain same. Just note it down. And now another example is print df dot count. Now put 1 as an argument, which means we are passing this. We want to get all the values by column. So it will return the number of values by column. So in every column at 0 index position, we are having 4 values, and same as at index 1, we are having number of values 4. So the column, the values from the columns will be counted here and will be represented as in the index, right? So here, this is the column values, right? So we are having 4 number of columns, and in every column contain single value, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many values at 0 index position? 4. And same as 1. At one index position, we are having same number of values, right? Now, next function is df dot size. What is the working of this function? This function will return the number of elements of the data frame. See this. How many values are there? How many elements? 8. Just count the number of elements here. We are having only 8 values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the index number, and this is column number, row number, and column number. Right? You don't need to count the number of rows and columns. You just count the number of elements inside it. So that's why it returns 8. Is it clear? And now, if you are using T, which means you are going to transpose your rows into the column and columns into the rows, the output will be, and I'm just printing my original data frame here, and in the second statement we are I'm printing the transpose data frame, right? See the output. Every column becomes the rows and rows become the column. See this. Is it clear? Is it clear? Hello, the examples are clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. If you are having any problem regarding the explanation or regarding the coding or regarding the session, whatever we are going to discuss today, so please ask me and stop quickly in everywhere wherever you find any of problem, right?
Yes.
Okay, now we are having some more functions of data frame, that is ABS, which means it returns all the absolute value of data frame. Or you can see that remove minus sign from the value. Remove minus sign from the value. The value. Suppose you are having a data frame in which you are having some values. Suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, and 1. Right? In which you are having some suppose negative element, -9, 3, 4, 5, 11, just make it negative, and -1 and 0. So it will remove the minus sign from the values. So the output will be all the elements will be positive. 0, 1,
Yes.
2, 3, 0, 1. Output will be 10, 9, 3, 4, 5, 11, 1, 0. This will be your output after calling the function. That is absolute ABS, right? Remove all the minus sign from the values. And now next function is add. Suppose uh, this is your data frame, right? And this method is used to get added the value which you are passing with this function. Suppose uh, df dot add, and you are passing the value, suppose 5. So in every column with every element, that value which you are passing with the add function will be added. Suppose this is your data frame in which you are having this value, suppose this value, and now what will be the output? The output will be, suppose 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So that value will be added with these values in every column, right? So 10 plus 5 will become 15, minus 9 plus 5 will become minus 4. So the output will be minus 4. And next, 5 plus 3, 8. 4 plus 5 will become 9. And minus 5 plus 5 will become 0. And 11 plus 5, 16. And minus 1 plus 5 will become what? 4, right?
4. Yes.
5 plus 0 will become 5. So the output will be, see this, same as you can call sub method for subtracting the values with these values of the data frame, and multiply for, and div floor division, and uh, just do it now. See this, we are having this data frame, right? I'm using add function, add with 5, right? The output will be 5 plus 1, 6, 2 plus 5, 7, 3 plus 5, 8, 4 plus 5, 9, right? The same output will be print df dot sub, and now pass the values here, minus 5. The output will be Okay. The output will be 6. So how is it possible? How is it possible? Why we get same output? Can you please explain? See this.
Because they are both fine.
See this. Suppose um, we are having this 10, and in which we are subtracting 5. Okay, so what is it? Oh, sorry. You are passing the negative value with this function. So every negative value will become the positive, right? How is it possible? So 10, if I am passing minus 5, so the value will be 10. 10 minus minus 5. So that will become 10 plus 5 will be 15. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Is it clear or not? If I shall I
No, it's
explain? It is clear. Now
yeah.
let's try it here. Just pass only the number here, 5, with the subtract with the subtraction with sub function. So the output will be 1 minus 5 will be minus 4. 2 minus 5 will be minus 3. Is it clear to you? Now the next function is 5, and you can also pass any other value such as 10. The output will be, see this. This is our original data frame. 10 multiplied by 1 will become 10. 10. 1 multiplied by 10 is equal to 10. 2 multiplied by 20, so that is 20. 3 multiplied by 30, that is 30. 4 multiplied by 40. And the last function is just create a simple data frame pd dot data frame. Now create -1, 5, -3, -10, 5, 11, and see this print. And now I'm calling abs absolute function will return, will remove the minus sign from the values. See this. The output will be, if you are simply printing your data frame, print d, the output will be like that. All the negative values will be placed in the data frame, and after this I'm using absolute function, which means I'm trying to remove negative sign from the value. The output, the final output will be here. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are the functions uh, which we have discussed in that session. So we will study about um, how to read a CSV file or Excel file in the data frame in the next session. So till that, goodbye. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye.